तो बच्चों के दोबारा एक दफ़ा सवाल जवाब पे कर दिया, नेक्स्ट टाइम आप जब करें ना। नहीं, आज तो वो नहीं है हमारे पास, आज नहीं है, गिफ्ट नहीं है। अच्छा,
मैं लाया हूँ अपने पास, मैं दे दूंगा प्रॉमिस।
दिया तो मेरे पास बिल्कुल ही नहीं।
हाँ, निकाल के पूरा $7.45. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم بسنة الدين. أما بعد، رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا واجتنابه. اللهم إنا نسألك خير ما سألك عبدك رسولك النبي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذ بك عبدك رسولك صلى الله عليه وسلم. Inshallah, we'll start our program. And our topic today is in terms of husband and wife relationship, as we mentioned in the Jummah Khutbah. And in this context, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Rum, Surah 30, about one of his signs is that He has made for us, He has made for us spouses from our own self. ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون. Allah SWT is saying from amongst His signs is that He has made for you spouses from your own self. And then He made between the two spouses mawadda and rahmah. Mawadda is coming from wudu, which means love. So Allah is saying He instilled the love in between the husband and wife together. Allah SWT is the one who instill the love in the hearts of the two individuals. These two individuals are strangers. Yes, we know that in Islam, dating is haram. So a person does not know about the other person before marriage. We do not interact with the opposite gender before marriage. So that's why Allah is saying that once you have married, and now these two stranger people, Allah will instill in them love. وَجَعَلَ يَجْعَلُ جَعَلَ يَجْعَلُ فَجْعَلَ means to create. So Allah creates the love in between the two people. When Khadija retired and Rasulullah, they didn't know each other. They were in the same city. They knew understanding that this is the two families, but they didn't know each other as individuals. And when the proposal came for Khadija Radhiyallahu Rasulullah, he proposed and she accepted. So they married. After the marriage, we see from the life history of Rasulullah that he loved her so much and he missed her so much even after her death. Even though he married so many other wives after her death, but he would always remember her. And likewise, she bore so many children for him, and she had the love for Rasulullah also. I mean, he married her when he was only 25, and he became a Nabi, a prophet, at age 40. So 15 years of their relationship, we see Allah showing us the loving, kind, gentle relationship between husband and wife, between Muhammad and Khadija in the 40th. Keep in mind that Rasulullah was not a prophet yet. When he married her, he was just an ordinary man, a regular man. He did not know he was going to be a prophet. Khadija did not know that he's going to be a prophet. And that is why we see this ayah is very crucial to understand that in a husband-wife relationship, where does the love come from? It comes from Allah. Like I said in the Jummah khutbah today, one of the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Wadud, which comes from Wud, Wow, and that. Al-Wadud, Wud. So Wadud means the giver of love, the bestower of love. And that is why when Allah is the giver of love, bestower of love, He's saying in this ayah, in Surah Rum, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَهُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. And Allah made between the two individuals, between the husband and wife, mawadda coming from sex. Same word, wadud and ud, mawadda, love. Warahmah, mercy. This is amazing. This ayah is amazing that Allah is saying two important ingredients for marriage to be successful is love, wood, or hope, and rahmah, mercy. Think about it. Why Allah is saying that love and mercy are two things that I instill in the spouse. Allah is saying, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَهُمْ وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ, and He made between the two of you mawadda and rahmah. He made between the two hearts, the two individuals, love and mercy. Why? Because love institutes bonding, cohesion, joining. Love brings the people together, closer. And when they come close together, they're about to have differences. So when they have differences, they have arguments. When they have arguments, they have disputes. When they have disputes, they have fighting. And what do you need when two people are fighting? What do you need? If two people are fighting, what's the most important ingredient you need at that time? Before that, before that, sabr comes from this. It's rahmah, mercy. If the husband has no mercy on the wife, and the wife has no mercy on the husband, there'll be no sabr, there'll be no Islam, and there'll be no, reconciliation. So, the most important thing is mercy, rahmah, which Allah is saying in the ayah that He institutes in the hearts of the two. Well, therefore, can you check if the YouTube link, the voice is coming good? Because last Friday the mic was not working. So just check and show. So it's very important to understand this ayah in the context of the marriage relationship. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is informing us in this context that two things you need the most for the successful husband-wife relationship. And two things that are needed are love and mercy. And both of these two things are coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is a Rahman, Allah is a Rahim. Rahman. So Allah is Rahim. He gives the mercy in the heart of the husband, in the heart of the wife. And Allah is Al-Wadud. So He gives the mawaddah. He gives the attraction. You know, if you remember when you got married, and the first few days after you got married, you had no attraction. Well, you had attraction, but you had no bonding and relationship with the wife because it's a strange person. Similarly, the wife had no bonding or relation with the husband. It's a new person, stranger, someone who you never talk, you never meet all your life, and suddenly after one meeting, you know, the parents decide, the families decide, yes, this is a good match, and you marry. So, barring one or two instances of meeting, you are now together in the same bed with a stranger person. And the early days of the marriage is very, very fragile, very delicate. It can break. And that's why most divorces happen in the first year of the marriage.
So lots of kids outside without the parents.
Right. So if the parents brought their kids, please keep them inside the masjid, because if they might be falling down or playing outside, wasting time, they can also listen. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, وَمِنْ آيَاتٍ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُم مَّوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Allah says, indeed, in this bonding of the husband-wife relationship, in this love and mercy that Allah instills in the husband-wife relationship, and in this sign that Allah is saying, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. Allah is saying, in this sign of Allah, there is a ayat, there is a lesson, لِقَوْمٍ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ, for people who think and ponder. Meaning Allah is asking us to think. Allah is asking us to contemplate that what do you need for a healthy marriage life? What do you need for a healthy relationship with the spouse? Love and mercy. And where do you get this from? From Al-Wadud, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the giver of love. And from Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, the giver of mercy. Rahman. So husband and wife both should be asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for instilling love in each other. Many times couples come to me for counseling and say, we don't feel love with each other. Since the day we got married, there's no love between us. And I say, of course there's going to be no love between you. Because Allah is saying in the Quran, in the ayah, very clearly, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ. Allah is the one who made or created between the two of you love and mercy. So yes, the love starts after the ball starts rolling. From the day who get married, from the day that they get happens, from that day, love starts building. Not only that, we also need to ask Allah, beg Allah for love and mercy. Husband should make dua to Allah, oh Allah, bestow love in me for my wife. Wife should make dua to Allah, oh Allah, bestow love in my heart for my husband. Both should be making dua to Allah, oh Allah, give us rahmah, give us mercy, and give us the ability to be merciful to each other. See, if husband and wife are merciful to each other, what's going to happen? That if you are a merciful husband and you're a merciful wife, what's going to happen in the relationship? Sa'adah, happiness, yes, but before that, how do you achieve sa'adah? From that mercy, what comes first? When you're merciful towards somebody, what do you do regarding their mistakes? Before forgiving, you ignore it. Forgive when you are hurt. When you get irritated, hurt, then you forgive. But before forgiving, in order not to create hurt, you ignore many times. What is the meaning of ignore? That you don't want to pick a fight. You don't want to pick on some issues. See, when we pick issues, when either spouse, when husband or wife pick issues, it becomes an issue. Make it a non-issue. Make it something that's not an issue. And that's how the relationship will then start bonding and join. This is rahmah at play. How does rahmah, when we engage rahmah, mercy in our hearts, how does it help in the marriage relationship? We ignore, we pardon, we overlook many things. We ignore and overlook many things. Now, when you're ignoring or overlooking, what is it that you are ignoring in your spouse? What are you ignoring in their spouse? Is it their positivity or is it their negativity? You don't ignore the positive things. Yes. When you're ignoring something in your spouse, it's usually the negative things, the deficiencies, the wrong habits, the wrong things. That's why you're ignoring it. The good things you don't like to ignore. You like that. You appreciate it. It's how he gave the Rasul once. And he was complaining about his wife to Rasulullah. You know how sometimes people come to the Imam and they keep complaining about their wife. Oh, she does this, she does it. She. So this Sahabi came to Rasulullah when he was complaining about his wife. What should I do? And Rasulullah advised him. And he told him that does your wife have any positive features, any positive things? And immediately he said yes. He said yes. No individual can be all negative. Allah has not made us insan all negative. There is positive and negative. There's good and bad in each one of us. Allah says that in the Quran himself, in Surah Shams. Allah says, فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. فَأَلْهَمَهَا, alha means that Allah instilled, imbibed in us fujur and taqwa, the evil and the good. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Successful is the one who purifies their soul. وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. And loser or miser is the one who suppresses their good in there. So there is good and bad in each one of us, both husband and wife. They both have good and bad in both of them. And that is why, one thing.
But there's some static. I'm going to turn the echo off. Maybe that will help you.
So what is important to understand is that there is good and bad in each one of us. And this Sahabi who came to Rasulullah complaining, moaning about wife. Look, Rasulullah did not say, yeah, you're right, this is bad, she is bad. No, he said, does your wife have any good in her? Does she have any good characteristics? Does she have any good features? He said, yes, of course, Rasulullah. He said, then go back and focus on the good she has. Optimism. Mindset. Recharge. Reframe. Refocus. He's saying, go back. Why are you coming to me complaining about your wife? Go back and focus on the good things in your wife. He's telling this husband, which is a very practical advice. If each husband and wife, they both focus on each other's good things, positive things, good habits, good likes, and ignore and overlook the negative things, automatically there'll be a healthy relationship. The key to the success of a long marriage life is this thing of overlooking and ignoring the negative and focusing on the positive. When couples come to me, I give them a notepad. I say, here's your pen, here's your pen. Sit down. Now write to me right now in front of me, in front of my table, right now, 10 good things about your husband, 10 good things about your wife. And you'll be surprised, they quickly pick up the pen and start writing. They live with each other 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. There's bound to be some good things. Even couples who only had 1 year of marriage, I say, write something good about. Don't focus on negative, just write good. And so they write a few things, a few bullet points. I said, more, think about it. Oh, I can't think of it. I said, no, think. Just sit down here, brainstorm, think, contemplate. And when they start thinking, you start focusing. Guess what happens when a husband or wife starts focusing on the good things in their spouse? What starts brewing? Like tea starts brewing, you put tea bag in a hot water, the tea starts brewing. What starts brewing in the heart of the person, the spouse, when you ask them to focus on good things of the partner? What starts building and brewing in the heart?
Like,
Yeah.
Right?
Love. Yes. You're going to be a good future husband, inshallah. Love is one, and what's the second thing starts building? That's afterwards. That's the byproduct. Love and the same thing that is in the eye. Love and mercy, rahmah. The moment you start focusing on the good things of your spouse, you start feeling inside regret. Why did I shout at her? Why did I yell at him? Why did I scold him? Why did I do this and that? You start feeling remorse, regret, and mercy starts building. You start feeling more merciful. The moment you focus on someone's positive things, positive habits, positive characteristics, akhlaq, character features, mercy starts building. Love starts building and mercy. You start feeling more merciful towards them. You'll be surprised how many times when husband and wife are sitting in front of me in the table when I do this exercise with them, when they start writing down, some are crying, some of them their tears are dropping, and some immediately start saying to the other, I'm very sorry, I'm very sorry. Because the rahmah that starts brewing and building in the heart forces the person to acknowledge guilt. When we have guilt that I have done so much wrong towards my spouse, when we have guilt that I've done so much wrong towards my husband or my wife, automatically the person asks for forgiveness. So forgiveness is a byproduct. And that's what Allah is saying. ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها. And from the signs of Allah is that He has created for you soulmates that you may find repose. Taskunu, I explained this in the khutbah today in Jummah, that taskunu comes from second. Second means like house or your home where you relax. Husband and wife are like this. They're supposed to relax with each other. Not like this. This is not relaxation. This is relaxation. You complement one another. Whatever she has negative, you must have positive. So it comes and builds it. Whatever you have negative, she has positive. So it comes and brings. See these two heads, these two palms, fingers. If the fingers keep colliding, you will never get anywhere. But if the two fingers come and complement, join like this, now you see this is what a husband and wife relationship. They're not contradicting each other. They're not colliding with each other, but they're complementing each other. Like this. See, look at this. Look at these fingers. How they blend in. Look at it. They blend in, they mesh in. It's like you have the gap. Allah made a gap purposely in the fingers so that they come in the gap and join. This is husband and wife relationship at the best. Because nobody is perfect. Neither the husband is perfect nor the wife is perfect. Each one has deficiencies. Each one has some negativities. And how do they blend in? My negativities, my deficiencies are her positives, and she will absorb that. Her negativities, her deficiencies are my positive. I will absorb that. That's when you absorb each other, then you have second. It does sukoon. Allah is saying you will find sukoon in each other. This is an Urdu word too, sukoon. Many husbands say, I have no sukoon in my home. I come back home from a long day's work. Why sukoon nahi? Ghar mein chain sukoon nahi. I said, because you are not giving the sukoon. You heard that English phrase, what goes around comes around. If I give sukoon to somebody, am I going to get sukoon? Yes. But if I don't give sukoon, if I always irritate her, if I always agitate her, if I always provoke her, if I always go anti-negative her, how is she going to give me sukoon in the house? It's very important thing. If I need sukoon from my spouse, I have to give sukoon to my spouse. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهِ وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. And He made, Allah made between you two love and mercy. There's a very famous hadith in Bukhari and Muslim about Rasulullah informing about husband and wife couple. You know how to increase love and mercy in each heart, in each other? If you try this activity, which is from the Sunnah, which is from the Hadith of Allah, you will see miracles happen in your relationship with your spouse. Husband-wife relationship, miracle will happen. What did Rasulullah say? He said to the Sahaba, any husband or wife that gets up in the middle of night for tahajjud and then wakes their partner up also for tahajjud, so much so that they sprinkle water on them. Now here I say be careful, caution. Before you sprinkle water, do it from a far distance. Don't be so close to them, especially the husband side. Because one sister told me, brother, you told me to sprinkle water, I did, and after that all hell broke loose. So I said, sister, you didn't listen to the disclaimer, I give you a disclaimer, do it from a distance. So that when somebody's sleeping and suddenly water is coming on them, first thing is they're gonna get surprised, shocked in the middle of the sleep, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock morning. What are you trying to do? It will break the whole spirit of what you're trying to do. What Muslim is saying, any husband or wife that wakes up with tahajjud and then wakes their partner with tahajjud, meaning first now you try without the water. If it works, that's the best thing. But he's saying even if they have to sprinkle water to wake them up, they should do that and then make them get up and then they both break the tahajjud. Not in jama'ah, but individually. She's praying over there and he's praying over there. They're both in the soul praying tahajjud at the time of tahajjud. What is the reward Allah will give? Rasul says, Allah will join their hearts like this. Soldier, both spiritual heart, connect. Can you imagine? It's an amazing activity. Try it if you haven't tried it. Every couple that has tried it has come back and said, brother, this is amazing. I never knew this. I said, it's in Bukhari Sharif, it's in Muslim. It's in Bukhari and Muslim, this hadith of Rasul said many, many years. And Rasul is saying, look, this activity, you both are getting up in the middle of the night. Allah is very happy, and Allah is happy with both of you. So the biggest reward Allah will give to both of you is what? Love and mercy. The same thing that Allah said there in the ayah, Surah Rum. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. And He made love and mercy between the two hearts together. 99% of the couples that are fighting is because they're missing mercy. And when mercy is missing, automatically love goes down. It's common sense. You can see it. When there's no mercy, when there's no rahmah between a husband and wife, the love factor will also start going down. That's why couples who say, I did love marriage. I have so many sisters, so many brothers who have told me, we did love marriage. I don't know how this love went away. I said, because you never practiced rahmah. You didn't practice mercy. So the love washed away, it evaporated. In order for love to remain there, mercy has to be there. That's what the ayah is saying. Quran is a miracle. Quran is ajab. When Allah is talking about something in terms of human relationship, He's giving us the hint and idea how the relationship strengthens. It strengthens through love and mercy. But in order for love to be there, you have to have mercy. It's a precursor. No mercy, love will not build. Mercy, love will build. Because what is mercy? What is rahmah? It's that ability to forgive and forget the other person's mistake. That is what mercy is. When you are merciful towards something. What do we ask Allah? What do we beg Allah? Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, have mercy on us. Have mercy. Have mercy on us, Ya Allah. We're begging Allah every day, every night, have mercy and mercy. But we can't show mercy to our wife, to our husband, the most important relationship. And you know, this is the thing that Shaitan always attacks. Shaitan whispers waswasa in the ear, no mercy. No mercy. Revenge. Revenge. Retaliate. Revenge. This is the biggest waswasa Shaitan puts in the husband and wife. Oh, whenever the mistake happens from either spouse, if the husband made mistake or the wife made mistake, the first thing Shaitan says, no mercy. Revenge. Revenge. Retaliate. Recompense. Take revenge from the person you joined to start a family. I get shocked sometimes when husband and wife say, I have to take revenge. I said, revenge from who? Revenge from the mother of your children? Revenge from the father of your children? Revenge from the person who you very, very happily said, Qubule, Qubule, Qubule. I said this in the Jummah today also in the khutbah. Remember the day you got married? How happy you were. And you were how energetic you were, how restless you were. You were like so impatient to say Qubul, Qubul, Qubul so fast. But then that Qubul is forgotten. And that's why in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, very important, love and mercy, love and mercy. Next thing that the other ayah we mentioned in the khutbah today is from Surah Ahzab, Surah 33. Over there, this is the ayah that Rasul used to recite in khutbatul nikah. Remember I said earlier today in the Jummah that every nikah, every time Rasul performed the nikah, he would recite a khutbah, sermon. Just like khutbatul Jummah, there is khutbatul nikah. He used to recite two main ayats. One is the Surah Nisa, the first ayat Surah Nisa, which I already explained today in the Jummah khutbah. That's the first ayah. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. Allah is saying in the ayah, all human beings, all nats, all mankind, fear your Lord who created you from one soul, one loves one soul. And from him, meaning Adam, he created the soulmate Hawa, Eve. And then from the two of them, Allah created countless men and women. And then again, Allah says, fear Allah in whose name you ask each other's rights. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامَ. See, a husband asks for his rights from his wife in the name of Allah. Allah gave me this right. Allah made me your husband, so this is God-given rights. Similarly, the wife says to the husband, give me my rights, which Allah gave me as a wife. Allah gave me this God-given rights as a wife. You have to give. So now, understand in the relationship, in any relationship, there are two things. Memorize this. There is duties and there is rights. So duty or obligation is one person that has to fulfill, and the rights are of the other person. My duties and obligation are the rights of my wife. Her duties and obligations are my rights as a husband. So it blends in, it meshes in. If each partner is doing their duty right, are they fulfilling the rights of their partner? Yes or no? If I fulfill my duty, my obligation as a husband, I'm automatically giving her her rights. If she, my wife, is fulfilling her duty, her obligation as a wife that Allah has sanctioned, automatically she is giving me her rights. So when both are giving each other their rights, what kind of relationship builds? If both are fulfilling each other's rights, what kind of relationship builds? What kind of relationship? No, opposite of that. What kind of relationship is built if both are giving each other their rights, both fulfilling their obligations? Well, good relationship, yeah, but what is the result of that? That is the byproduct. Respect, he said, back it up. That's the byproduct. What's the main thing that comes when you are fulfilling each other's rights? I told you the word is in the eye. It does sukun ilayya, sukun, second. Peace, tranquility, sukun. Look, if both parties are fulfilling their rights, if they're both parties fulfilling their duties, it's a peaceful relationship. Fighting, no, everybody's doing their job. Everybody's fulfilling their duty. So it's peaceful. There's sukun. Tama'ina, sukun in the house. Sukun in the relationship. Neither party is asking, give me my right. Neither party is saying, you're not fulfilling my right. They're both happy. This is the secret formula for success. Many times brothers ask me, but man, what is the secret formula for successful marriage? I said, fulfill the rights of your wife and ask your wife to fulfill your rights as a husband. This is successful marriage. That's what Allah is saying. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِينَ تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامَ. Fear Allah in whose name you demand each other right. When a husband says to the wife, this is my right, give me. In whose name is he asking? Allah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Give me my right. When the wife is saying to the husband, this is my right as a wife, as a spouse, give me my right. In whose name is she asking? In her father's name? In the brother's name? No, Allah's name. Bismillah, in the name of Allah. Because it is Allah who made them husband and wife, not the Imams of Maulana. Imams of Maulana just came and did the nikah. It's ijab or qubul. Do you accept? Yes. Do you accept? Yes. So now Allah has made them husband and wife. And they signed a paper. Remember, the husband-wife relationship is not a blood relationship. It's not a milk relationship. Blood and milk are two things that's running in our body. So husband-wife relationship is not a blood relationship or milk relationship. It's a paper relationship. piece of paper. You sign the piece of paper. And that's why paper is very delicate, but another thing, it can rip. And that's why the relationship between husband and wife in the beginning days is very, very fragile. It needs to be strengthened through love and mercy and then fulfilling of rights. That's why Allah is saying, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامَ, and connect the ties of kinship. The first thing that happens in a husband-wife relationship, that, oh, now we're married, forget your parents. You forget your parents. You forget your parents. Allah is saying in this ayah, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامَ. Arham is the plural of rahim. Rahim, silatul rahim. Rahim is your umbilical cord with the mother every child has when coming into dunya. So Allah is saying, don't cut off the ties of kinship. When you marry someone, you can't force them to cut off their ties with kinship. This happens a lot. I see all the time when counseling husband and wife. One of the biggest fight is, oh, I don't want her to meet her mom and dad and brother and sister. And then the wife said, I don't want him to meet his mom and dad and brother. How do you cut off the ties of blood relationship? This is selfishness. This is bukhul. Many spouses are very egocentric, egocentric and very selfish. That it's just me and my husband, me and my wife, me and my husband, me and my wife, nobody else. You can't do that. And that's where the problem starts. Allah is saying in the ayah, meaning don't cut off the ties of kinship. Just because you married someone does not mean that they can no longer see or meet or talk with their mother, father, brother, sister. We cannot cut like a scissor. We cannot cut off the ties of kinship. That's why Allah mentioned the word rahab in the same ayah. He's mentioning about marriage and spouse relationship. He's mentioning arham, rahab. Because we see that. In reality, we see that husband and wife, the first relation they want to cut is from the back. If wife is smart, she will make the husband cut off from the father, mother, brothers. If husband is very aggressive and crazy and hot-tempered, you make the wife cut off from mom, dad, and brother and sister. It happens. Does it make sense? Am I talking to walks? Do you understand what I'm saying? It happens. This is real. And this is what the Quran is saying. When you go against the Quran, you're bound to have problems in the marriage. People ask, why do we have problems in our marriage? Why do we have problems in husband and wife? Because we're going against the qanun of Allah. Allah made a qanun, Allah made a system. Allah said, yes, you are now husband and wife, but you also have two families, two generations. Yes, you would minimize in some relationships. Your attachment with your mom and dad and brother, sister will now take less time because now you have a spouse to take care of. And more time will be given in the spouse. But cutting off the ties of kinship is against Islam. And whichever partner asks the other person to cut off their ties of kinship, they're asking them to do a haram, and they will have to pay for it in Yawm al-Qiyamah on the Day of Judgment. If the husband says to his wife, cut off from your mom and dad and brother and sister, Yawm al-Qiyamah on the Day of Judgment, Allah will ask the husband, why did you ask them to do a sin? Guna. This is from the Kabair. Guna kabira. Cutting off ties of kinship is guna kabira. Ism kabir. It's a big, major sin. Because Rasulullah said in the hadith, La yadkhulul jannata al-qati'. The one who severes, cuts off the ties of blood relationship, kinship, will not enter Jannah. Rasulullah said, they will not enter Jannah. That's it. Period. Jannah is haram on the person who cuts off the ties of blood relationship. And if the spouse is forcing the other spouse to cut off the ties of kinship, they are forcing them to do a sin. And they will bear the burden of it too, besides the other person that will bear in the sin also. So we have to be ready for that and prepared. And then the other ayah Rasulullah recites in Khutbatul Nikah, in the sermon of Nikah, when he would do the Nikah, is from Surah Ahzab, where Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. Verse number 70. You must have heard this ayah many times in nikah when the imam or shaykh or maulana sahib is reciting the khutbah to nikah. He recites this ayah, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. These two ayats, along with the ayah from Surah Nisa, these three ayats, Rasul used to recite in every khutbah of nikah. Every nikah, husband and wife are there, parents are there, relatives are there, and Rasul is reciting to make them listen to the message. What is the message? Allah giving in this ayah, oh you believe, oh you have iman. In this ayah, why Rasul chose this ayah in Khutbatul Nikah? There are so many ayats in the Quran. Why he only chose this ayah? Because it relates with husband-wife relationship. In this ayah, although the ayah is a general ayah for all Muslims, but specifically in a husband-wife relationship, this ayah is very, very particular, very important. So Allah is saying, oh, you believe, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, ittaqullah, fear Allah. Again, taqwa. The previous ayah in Surah Nisa, again, ittaqullah. Taqwa, again and again in Khutbatul Nikah, Rasul is saying taqwa, taqwa. Why? Because taqwa is something that will stop you from doing dhulm to the spouse. Husband will not do dhulm to spouse if he has taqwa. Wife will not do dhulm to spouse, her husband, if she has taqwa. Taqwa is what? Fear of Allah. Why does the fear of Allah stop me from doing wrong to my life partner? Because I know Allah is watching. I know Allah is seeing. I know Allah is hearing everything, every word I say. I know every thought I have in my mind about my husband or wife. Allah knows that. يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةُ الْأَعْيُنِ وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورُ. Allah says, I know the deception of your eye and what is in your chest. Whatever thought you have, Allah says, I know that. So when a person has taqwa, they will restrain themselves from doing dhulm to the other partner. 90% of the fighting that is going on in a husband-wife relationship is because of dhulm, oppression. Either party is doing dhulm to the other person. And what does dhulm mean? When you're not fulfilling your rights, when you're not giving rights to the other partner, when you're not fulfilling your duty, obligation as a spouse, as a husband and wife, you're doing dhulm. Whatever is my duty as a husband, if I don't do that, I'm doing dhulm to my wife. Whatever of duty and obligation she has as a wife, and she doesn't do that, she's doing dhulm to me. And dhulm starts the fight. And so in this ayah, Allah says, Ittaqullah wa qulu qawlan sadida. Fear Allah and say a word straight to the point. And that is, it's amazing why Rasul chose this ayah in nikah. Because two strangers are now becoming husband and wife. Two people who didn't know each other before are now going to live the rest of their lives together. So this relationship has to be built on what? On trust. And how do you build trust? When you speak the truth. No lying. 90% of the fights start when either person starts lying. Get it? Lying. Little lie here, little, oh, she will not know. Oh, he will not know. But she will not know. Allah is the one who will show it. So that's why Rasul chose this ayah from Surah Ahzab, verse 70, from Surah 33. Ittaqullah wa qulu qawlan sadida. Fear Allah and say a word straight to the point. Be truthful, be honest to the spouse. When spouses, when husband and wife, either person is not truthful to the other person, problem starts. That's the judgment. Experiment. No, don't do it. Don't lie to your wife tonight. Don't lie to your husband tonight. But you would see, if you go back in time, go back and think the last time you had a fighting with your spouse. Drill deep down, you'll find out it was not being truthful. And it's amazing how Rasulullah chose this ayah to recite again and again, every nikah, same ayah, every nikah, same ayah, telling the husband and wife to be, that look, now your husband and wife, make sure you speak the truth, make sure you build trust. Trust is very important. If there's no trust between husband and wife, there is no marriage life. And then Allah says, if you say truthful things to each other, especially to spouse, what will happen in return? What will Allah do? يُصْلِحْ لَكُمْ أَعْمَالُكُمْ. Allah will reconcile your actions, your deeds. Allah will rectify your actions. Whatever ma'amilat you have between husband and wife, that will become Islam. Sulh, yuslah, solved. 90% of husband and wife problems get solved if they're truthful to each other and honest to each other. So, the moment they start cheating, the moment they start hiding, the moment they start lying, the moment they start backbiting, problem starts. Oh, backbiting. The Rasul said, whichever spouse, husband or wife, backbites their spouse. What does backbiting mean? Behind her or behind him, you're talking about. And 90% of the backbiting that husband and wife do are doing it in front of who? You don't do it in front of the spouse. Where do you do it? Someone else, either the mother or father, or the relatives or friends. So Rasul said that person who backbites their spouse, they are not from the Ummah of Musa. That is how strong message he gave. This is like death, destruction of the relationship. Just think about it. She or he is your life partner. They are the mother, she is the mother of your kids. He is the father of your kids. This is the most sacrilegious, sanctity, special, holy relationship. Are literally drilling in that relationship, like drilling a hole in the plate in which you're eating. You eat food in a plate, but you drill a hole in it. So the holes become bigger and bigger, and food will not stay. How can the marriage survive if either partner is backbiting their partner in front of other people? And usually the backbiting starts with parents. Husband going to his parents and backbiting. My wife is this, my wife is, and you know how Sas is. You know, mother-in-law. Yeah, I told you that. But don't farm me her. Got me married. Now, son and mother are backbiting about the wife. Inna lillahi wa It's breeding hate and hatred. The Sas is now becoming more hateful. She looks at her daughter-in-law with a very hateful eye. Yeah. She remembers what the son told her last night. So now hatred is expanded. So that's why Allah is saying that if you speak the truth, Allah will solve your issues and problems, solve your disputes. He will also reconcile, rectify your a'mal. And not only that, and Allah will forgive your sins. Husband and wife sins will be forgiven if they just speak the truth to each other. وَمَنْ يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ فَقَدْ فَازَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا. And Allah says, whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger, then indeed they are successful. We'll stop here, inshallah, and continue part 2 of this 2 weeks later, inshallah, because time is running out. And so we'll stop here with these ayat. Next part 2 of this series, we'll talk about other ayats from the Quran that deal with husband-wife relationship and how we can strengthen the relationship using those ayats and those hadith of Rasulullah. Stop over here for any questions, if anybody has any questions. If no questions, then I have some questions for our kids to give them some nice gifts to God. So while you're still thinking of questions, let me see. Which young kid here loves their mother more than their father? Raise your hand. Everyone. You're not supposed to raise your hand, so you can't get this now. I told this last Friday, remember, that you have to love your mother and father both equally. Okay. I'll take a different question. This is for kids, please. Fathers, parents, don't say it out loud. Let the kids answer. How many surahs in the Quran? Well, give me the number. Yes, you raise your hand. Come, please. Here's yours. Sure. Next question. Which is the last surah in the Quran? Who can tell? Yes, you raise your hand. Yeah. Come here. Sure. Next question. Which surah doesn't have Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim in the beginning? Yeah. Every surah? No, that's wrong. No, that's wrong. Don't say I'm the answer. Raise your hand. Oh, yes, very good. Come, you can take. Actually, you can choose which one you want. Which surah is the shortest surah in the Quran? Huh? Go. Take. Which surah is the longest surah in the Quran? Raise your hand. Don't say the answer. Ready? Go. You can get one. Here, sure. Which surah, if we recite it, it is 1/3 of the Quran. What's the name of that surah? You recite it one time, it's 1/3 of the Quran. 3 times you recite it, you finish one whole Quran. The reward is equal to that. Which surah is that? Raise your hand. Don't say the answer, please. Baqarah? No. Yes. Surah Al-Qaf. Very good. Come and get it, Shah. Here's another question. What is the other name of Surah Al-Qaf? Surah Al-Qaf has 2 names. He gave one name. What's the other name? Surah Al-Qaf has another name. 11? No. It has 2 names. One is Ikhlas. The other is this. You know Surah Al-Qaf, right? Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid. It has 2 names. What's the second name? This shirt. Yes, blue shirt.
I know the name, but like,
I decided the ayah, and that's the hint. The name is in the ayah. Qul huwallahu ahad. Ahad. Come and get it. No problem. You can come and get it. Qul huwallahu ahad. Ahad is the name, right? Which surah Rasul said you should recite when if somebody has done magic on you, you should recite this surah upon yourself as a cure remedy. Or you get in another way, he said which surah you should recite in order to save yourself from shaitan, from jinn. Yeah. What? Yes, come, inshallah. Very good. And which other surah we're supposed to recite in order to save ourselves from shaitan? Besides Surah Nas, what's the other surah we should recite? Yes.
this is the answer. And
Which surah? Which surah? Oh, let me choose this person. Yes. No. Let's choose someone different. Yes. Falak, yes. Very good. I don't know downstairs that. Can you give them a mic? So mic problem in the mic. Sorry. Last question. We have to give an and then start issue selection. Last question for today. Okay. I think it's a difficult one. Let's see if the fathers can help it. Yeah. When was the Quran compiled into a book form? In a book? When? In which time? I didn't say you read. I said the kid should read. But if the kid doesn't know, the father can help the kid. Yes. No. Yes. No. Give up? Yes. No. Prophet Ibrahim. There was no Quran at the time, Prophet Ibrahim. I said in whose time was the Quran compiled into book form? They received today. I said in which time, not the time. You're happy, I know you. We want to give it to a small boy. Oh, sister said, yes. Who? Oh. No. Finally, yes, give her the thing. In Abu Bakr's time, the Quran was then compiled in the book form. Rasul left the dunya and the Quran was in loose sheets. It was not in a book form. Abu Bakr was the first person who said we got to do it into a book form. So this is some news for you also, the adults. Give us that instruction.
Allah